Hello and welcome everybody to All the Rage Sports. With me, as always, is my lovely panel of Jace Junk.
It's just me.
It's just me.
And I'm not lovely.
Every time you're lovely, you're always lovely.
Thank
Today we're gonna go over our Week 6 matchups. A really weird week. It just we both didn't fare well in our picks. There was a lot of weird upsets, and just I don't know. It was a weird week to me. I lost a lot of bets, and yeah,
I
didn't
don't
do
even
well.
want to talk. We don't need to talk about betting this week.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
It's
Nothing like the Week 4 matchups we had, but this one was not good.
It's called setting up for a big comeback this week.
There it is. I
Bouncing
like it.
back. Positive vibes.
Obviously, we'll have a lot to talk about. The 5-1 Bears right now. We'll be talking about them. We're going to go through each game. Falcons getting their first win after firing Quinn. Washington football team being real dumb at the end of a game and losing it. The Steelers shellacked the Browns 38-7. That was pretty good. Titans come back to win it against the Texans. That was a good one. The Cardinals beating up on the Cowboys, the Chiefs winning. So we'll be all talking about all that stuff, breaking it down, seeing what we see, some of the new and fun stuff that has happened, and then what we expect out of Week 7. So we're going to have all that and more on All the Rage Sports. All right, so let's just start from the top. I want to work through these as quickly as I can because I kind of want to talk about Week 7 more than talk about Week 6.
Right? Yeah, we don't have to talk about these games too much. A lot of lopsided things.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. The Bears right now 5-1. Besides, I don't know if it was last week or the week before or 2 weeks ago when Nick Foles just looked horrible. They pretty much had one good drive, which was in the fourth quarter, right at the end of the game. They've looked good. I don't know how this team is 5-1. They are doing it very ugly, very unconventional. Nothing is really standing out. Maybe the defense has a good game. Foles makes a couple good throws.
Very reminiscent of the Jay Cutler Bears, where they had a really, really good defense, but just kind of sputtered on offense. Like David Montgomery really hasn't shown us too much. I haven't even really paid much attention. Are Allen Robinson and Foles getting on the same page?
They're doing well. They're not fucking lighting it up like crazy, but they're doing well together. Yeah, they are getting good connection.
They're a very mad team, but they have a good defense. And that defense, that was getting shellacked the first couple weeks of the year, not necessarily so much in points, but the yardage and shit that they were giving up. Definitely not, what they're used to. But yeah, the facts, just the quarterback play has been so abysmal. The fact that you can get this team to 5-1 is an accomplishment. I don't know if they should fire Matt Nagy or give him Coach of the Year at this point for being 5-1.
Well, it's there's a lot of people saying they can't sustain this, and they, this will be the team in the second half of the season you're going to see kind of fall behind a little bit. And yeah, I could see it. But, defense wins games. The Steelers are kind of rocking that same type of mentality. Their offense hasn't been, crazy explosive besides Chase Claypool the last 2 weeks.
Well, but the one thing about the Steelers, you've already had 4 home games, and you've already had your bye week, so you're going to have to play a lot of games on the road with no break.
And 3 games in a row on the road is coming up for us.
Let's look at your next 3 games. You've got the Titans in Nashville. Then you've got to go play in Baltimore. And then on to Dallas.
Yes.
Which Dallas isn't necessarily scary, but jet lag can be a bitch. And Andy Dalton just knows enough about you guys that he might just be a thorn in your side.
It's true. Tony Romo did predict when they were going to be back there that the Steelers would be 8-0. We'll see if he's right on that. But we'll get to that. So that's them. The Panthers, they need CMC. Once he gets back, this team could be different.
There was 1 week of Mike Davis hype, and then it just went away. Like,
yeah, and Mike Davis has done well in his absence, but he's not CMC.
To his credit, absolutely. He's done well. Like, he has filled in admirably, but he's not the reigning NFL MVP. Like,
yeah.
Was he the MVP or the
offensive player of the year?
Offensive player.
Yeah, but same. Yeah, it's the same type of thing. He's not going to be able to fill those shoes right away.
But
so,
like I said, Robbie Anderson has been excellent. Like, I think
when he was with the Jets, Robbie Anderson, I never thought was going to amount. Like, I thought this was just like some dude they picked up. He was their best option. On Madden, he might be 79 overall. Like, that's kind of why I looked at him. And now it's different.
Oh, in the legal trouble, he had, a little bit of trouble, I think. I can't remember for what, but I feel like, it's just kind of like the guy needed to get out of New York and just go somewhere a little bit more laid
back.
Which
seems to be the ritual in New York right now.
Yeah, it just seems like it's weird. As soon as you leave the Big Apple, or I've said this, in the case of Nelson Aguilar, you leave Philly, it's almost like, oh, I don't have people screaming at me and throwing. Did you see Joe Judge is from Philly, and they're playing. The Giants are in Philadelphia this week. They asked how his family's getting ready for the game, and he said, my in-laws have already started buying batteries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. But yeah, you're right about the Panthers. Get McCaffrey back. And
they're going to be
terribly.
They're going to be a maybe sneak into the wild card type of team. The NFC the NFC is what the NFC normally is. A lot of teams at the very top, a lot of teams at the very bottom, and a lot of it's less mediocre. There's no outstanding. There's like 2 or 3.
The AFC and the NFC are much like the East and the West in the NBA. It's like the West is always very tightly contested, and it's always like a death grab for like that final wild card spot, and then it's like the East is usually like the final wild card spot can be usually contested, but the other one's usually wrapped up like 3-4 days before or some shit.
Yeah.
It's not really that competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if they would be able to in this NFC right now to sneak up and get a wild card spot, but I think they have a chance.
With the third spot, with that extra wild
that's
card spot,
that's what I'm meaning. They might be able to do it with that third spot. I can see them
getting that. Now that you said that, I got them circled right there. I think that's probably
that's about it.
Last team in.
Moving on, we go to the Bengals and the Colts. Rivers is still, you've said it, I've said it before. He's had shaky moments. He is starting to show a little bit of age.
Well, and the Bengals got out to like a 21-0 lead or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
and you got to feel for Burrows, man. Burrow. Not Burrows.
Burrow.
You got to feel for him because he is trying his damnedest to win them fucking games. He's putting them in position.
You should, like I said, after Sunday, you maybe shouldn't be so much scared of Baker. Maybe he was a little bit overhyped, but you still got Lamar to deal with. And Burrow, the Bengals don't have a bad team, but they really don't have a very good defense.
Yeah, that's the big downfall is their defense.
And with him even still taking his licks and trying to get, he's still a little bit off time at times with AJ Green. The timing's not exactly perfect. But this kid, he's taken a very, a team that, you take most of the backups in the league, they wouldn't have come close to winning a game by now. And they have been pretty much in every single game they've played. It's been competitive.
He literally is a few plays from having a winning record.
Yes, he is absolutely the difference on that team.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Early in the season, AJ Green has a push-off foul, so they lose that game. This last week, they lose by 4. Even if they would have just made a couple plays here and there.
But you score 6 points in the second half. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's what.
They were up. They were up. They might not even been in the second half. Let me look real quick, because they were up 21-0 early. Or no, they scored 14 in the first, 10 in the second, and then they had 3 points in the second half. You can't.
can't
You lost by
win,
4.
can't be
One
successful.
more touchdown and it's over.
And that is defense on that end. So that's not even Burrow. That's defense putting one stop together to keep them in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The team could easily be 3-2-1 or maybe even 4-1-1 if they got really lucky.
This team is a good cap year and a good being, like one of those like sneaky contender teams. So
yep.
I
think
like what
Titans
I see from Burrow,
2 years ago kind of sneaky.
Yeah, I do. I've seen at times there's just been like just a couple negatives and just a couple dumb decisions that Burrow has made. Other than that, the kid looks very poised. He's running for his fucking life half the time.
Yeah, that's the big problem with him is he's got to run for his life so much. But yeah, I mean the Bengals. I like to see them break that old culture that the Bengals always had of like you can't play for the Bengals unless you have a felony. Like I feel like that is a stigma they had for a long time, and I'm glad to see they're finally breaking that a little bit. I hope that the Bengals team can actually be I'd love to see them go beat the Browns. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, everybody would love to see that. I mean, just because it'd be, well, I can't. Oh God, Uncle Lonnie's listening. I can't be talking bad about the Browns.
That's right.
I didn't mean that. I didn't say it. No, this is a team that I could very easily. I hate to say it. See them beating the Browns.
They have a decent team. They just got to get that defense together, and that offensive line is putrid. Yeah. But let's move on. Colts win that game. They moved to 4-2, leading the division still. Great. They're looking good at start. Phillip Rivers was a good grab by them. Lions and Jaguars, really nothing to talk about besides DeAndre Swift had a very good game. It's good to see him getting touches. Yeah. He had 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. First Detroit rookie to have that since 1989. But yeah, he had a great game. Lions won 34-16. Wasn't anything special of a game.
No,
the Jaguars are pretty bad right now.
That was my Who Gives a Fuck of the Week bowl.
Yep. Speaking of Who Gives a Fuck of the Week, we move on to the Falcons and Vikings. Both not good. Both teams you thought were going to be good, but just have not been good. The Vikings right now have the top 2 receivers in fantasy football, but their defense can literally not stop anything. Their secondary is so bad. Harrison Smith is the only thing that's worth a damn on that defense. I don't know. They're just so bad. And we kind of predicted it. We said, Matty Ice was going to come back and start slinging, and he did. He came out and dropped a 40 burger on him.
Well, I mean, the thing was I was making my bed Sunday morning, and I was like, Kirk Cousins has fucked me so many times. Yep. And I couldn't talk myself into the Falcons. I was like, this is so stupid. I just can't do it. And then I just was looking at the scoreboard in horror as my $1,500 parlay was literally lit on fire by the fucking Vikings. I was so mad. I should have just believed in it. We knew the coaching changed and this was going to come about and they were going to have a big game. And
it always seems to be that way. Yeah, it always seems to be that way in a coach change. They come out with a little more fire under their rears. So, but hopefully the Falcons can rebound and get that, losing a lead late in the game taste out of their mouth. This game kind of washed that out a little, but they have a long way to go to get that memory to go away.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to ask you about is I've heard trade rumors around Julio. And one of the teams was the Raiders that I was hearing.
Yes, but I don't know. I'm just trying, other than, Mayock and Gruden, don't like to give picks away. And it would take a first for Julio.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like as much as they love Ruggs and as much as they love the team we have, Julio would almost be like, bear with me, like in the metaphor, like the AB, like the true superstar, one missing piece. And then think about it. Once my goddamn entire offensive line doesn't have the COVID, hopefully not. It's just Trent Brown's positive. Hopefully the other 5 are negative, for Christ's sake. But we have a great offensive line. We have Josh Jacobs. We have Waller. And then we would have Ruggs across from Julio. And then just Renfro and Aguilar and all these moving pieces. It would be absolutely fucking disgusting. But we would have to give too much away, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
But at the same time, I feel like maybe with a new coach and with a new GM and a new Julio could he's a little bit older. I mean, he has had a little bit of injury issues. And this is a team that, honestly, Matty Ice isn't a spring chicken either. They're kind of to the point where, and especially their defense, they're kind of looking down the barrel of a rebuild. So
yeah, they really are.
And a lot of the Raiders, hate to keep bringing that up, but I hate to bring this up to just bring up bad memories for me, but Khalil Mack to get 2 first-rounders, to get one of them, which turned into Josh Jacobs.
Right.
So sometimes you have to deal your most valuable piece to get something out of it, and sometimes roll the dice in the draft. And I don't know, do you feel like that's where the Falcons are at right now, or like?
I think it's going to depend, because obviously they fired Quinn early enough that they're going to have a lot to look at and decide, okay, are we going to do a quick rebuild? Are we going to do a full blow it up rebuild? Are we going to, it's all going to depend on what the GM's thinking. Julio's aging, Matty Ice is aging, but Calvin Ridley has shown that he's pretty much the guy there right now.
Well, and that's the other thing, is Ridley has shown number 1 receiver potential. Actually, to bring it up, Julio is almost Roddy White when Julio came along. So,
yep. So that's, I could totally see him getting traded. I could see him getting traded to a potential team, potential playoff team that just needs a little push. Obviously, the Patriots always come to mind whenever there's a trade like this, because that could be their Randy Moss type of ordeal, and then you could see Julio rekindle his career completely. There's also been talked about AJ Green going to the Patriots too, but I don't know that AJ Green's going to get traded. But I'm just trying to think of a team that could use a big-bodied receiver and potential playoff teams. I don't see one.
if
the Bills maybe, but they have Diggs.
They have Diggs. They've got Beasley. They've got John Brown. I mean, I would almost say somebody almost like a San Francisco, because I mean Kittle and Debo. Who else do they really have? But I don't know what they have as far as. I mean, we can sit here and play hypotheticals about Julio all night, but it's really just, that's the thing, is they're going to ask a lot for him, and it's just, it has to be a perfect fit, I feel.
Yeah, it really does, because he can potentially bring a lot to a team. But what have we seen over the last 4 years with Julio? He can't score touchdowns. He doesn't defenses have been able to take him completely out of the game by honing in on him, double bracketing, all that kind of stuff. He's not the one-on-one climb the ladder type of player that he used to be. So I think they're going to have too high of an asking price, and people are not going to have a high enough offer to make it happen. I feel like we can have a pipe dream about it, but they're going to want to one.
Just sitting here thinking about Julio as a Las Vegas Raider, it's giving me all sorts of tingly feelings. And that would be the perfect team. I mean, all those options, and it's literally at that point, who do you cover? What do you do?
You have Ruggs in the slot breaking down the freaking, just flying down the field.
Yeah,
Julio taking off everybody.
Julio here, Waller at the tight end, and then Ruggs in the slot, and just you could play wide receiver.
I could at that point. I would be wide open because everybody else would be covered. They'd have to put like three people.
You would get it like a 30-yard bomb across the middle. You would
concussion. Well, Baden caught a nice pass over the middle for 25 yards, but he's concussed again, so he's out for the next 2 weeks.
You would have to catch. You would be just catching one bomb and then hope it's good because then you'd be dead. Like it'd be a different injury.
That what was it? Not another teen movie where the kid catches it in the end zone and gets cut in half. Yeah, that one. That would be me. All right, let's move on.
In NFL, hot take in today's catch rules, he didn't complete that catch and go to the ground with it.
That's right. Does your intestines count as 2 feet down?
Yeah, I don't know at that point because it's got to be 2 knees. I don't know. That's a gray area.
The Washington
football would call it incomplete.
That's probably true. Yes. The Washington football team had the biggest bonehead move of the week, going for 2, being ballsy. Oh, we got to win the game. We don't want to send it to overtime. And then they failed horribly at that.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch the play, though, there was contact off the line on receiver coming across from the right side to the left where Allen was rolling. He came up, hit a linebacker, got knocked on his ass. He was going to be the target. And that's when you saw Allen. I don't remember the guy who it was exactly, but he was the target because he was busting through that lower zone and he was going to find a soft spot and just sit. And he got knocked down by the linebacker in the center completely through the playoff. That's why Allen went out, then got rushed and did kind of a dance around BS and threw the ball away.
I don't necessarily question it because you're playing the Giants. You're both 2 toilet bowl teams. What do you really have to play for other than the win? I just question the play call. They could have done. There was a
whole lot of stuff they could do. Yeah. They could get fancy, do some trick play. They could do an end around. They could have done even just a straight draw up the friggin' center would have been better than what they did.
Exactly. Anything would have been better. And I mean that's coaching.
And the other thing is the receivers just there's receivers in the league when they're covered, they see what their quarterback's doing and they find a spot to go to. They try to help their quarterback. Then there's receivers that do their route, realize they're covered, and then just stop and stare at the quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's that's what it seemed like. The guy got knocked down coming across the middle. He just stood up and stood there because he saw Kyle Allen rolling. And he's like, oh, I wonder who he's going to throw it to. Fucking keep moving. Find an open spot, man.
Yeah.
That is one thing that bugs me the most is when receivers just give up on plays. And they're like, oh, I'm covered. I guess I'm not getting this ball this game. Whatever. But yeah, both 1-5 teams. We've already talked about them too long. Yep. The Ravens and the Eagles. This is another team that is got a bad record. That, barring some bad injuries, a few mistakes play call wise, could be a winning record team. They've been in on a lot of games. They were in with the Steelers game for the most part, for most of that game. They almost came back and beat the Ravens. I think, what was it, a 2-point conversion? No, it wasn't a 2-point conversion. Yeah. Wasn't it a 2-point conversion away from tying?
Yeah.
And they failed.
28.
Yeah. And they failed on the 2-point conversion, and that's what caused the Ravens to win. I feel like that's right. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway,
once again, Wentz has been shaky. Hasn't really impressed me too much, but I mean, he played a pretty decent game, and I don't know. You kind of want to blame the lack of weapons, and obviously Deshaun's hurt. They're missing a lot of people right now, but at the same time, there's been a couple of spots where he just looks lost, like he just doesn't really know where he's going or what he's doing out there.
I
and
still
Peterson
think
have played long enough together now that there shouldn't be. He shouldn't, really be on. And once again, a lot of moving pieces, but you should be on the same page and know what the hell's going on in your offense.
And I mean, how much is it that he's lost, or how much is it that all these new bodies they have around them are lost, and he's panicking because they're not doing anything correctly? They showed a graphic during the Steeler game, like I think it was Fulgham, whatever his name is. Fulgham. He was like their career-wise top receiver, and it was like he had 49 catches or something like that. Or maybe it wasn't even him. Maybe it was the other guy. He was the one that had like 7. So it was like, yeah, their receivers are fresh meat. They have way too many injuries. Really, the person to blame on this Eagles team is their training staff. That's it.
Much like the Los Angeles Chargers.
I was hoping you'd bring that up because I was going to say that too.
Shout out to Tyrod. All right, moving on.
But yeah, Ravens moved to 5-1, still second in the division. Steelers shellacked the Browns. As soon as Minka picked that pass off and ran it back, the game was kind of it just seemed like it was going.
I didn't think it was out of hand there, but it just felt like
it tilted.
They were in Baker's face all day.
Yeah, they were.
I kind of want to blame him for this game, but at the same time, he was constantly under pressure. He made some really dumb decisions and tried to take some gambles that could have paid off, but at the same time, obviously they didn't pay off. Then
right.
Much like my bets last week, we're both looking like shit. But
yeah,
they were chasing him all fucking day long. I
After
feel like it's 50-50. You can put it half on Baker, half on that offensive line.
Yeah. Here's my question for you. What did you take away from Odell Beckham's attitude at the end of that game? Did you watch that at all?
Yeah, I saw that.
So, if you didn't see it, essentially what happened, I think it was like 7-8 minutes left in the game. Obviously, it's out. There's not happening. Case Keenum comes in. Beckham goes to the sideline, taking off his pad, take off his shoes, changed into his J's, just fucking walking around on the sideline. And, he wasn't hurt or anything. He was just being kind of pouty. Now, I don't know if that was the coach's decision and Beckham was kind of pissed about it, and that's why he was kind of acting the way he was. Totally could be the case.
I saw it. I saw the helmet throw, and then as soon as that happened, I feel like it could go two ways. I haven't looked too much into it. I feel like, in a way, I don't think it was too much of a negative because he hasn't been a distraction like he was in New York. He's been a lot more level-headed. I think this was just more, he knew how much this was really the game in the division to figure out who was going to really run with the Ravens. This was the contender-pretender game, and they got exposed big time as the pretenders. So as soon as I saw the helmet come off, and like you said, he's changing and doing all sorts of shit, I feel like maybe he got pulled along with Baker because other than maybe Kareem Hunt, that's your best offensive players.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just frustration that getting pulled from the game and all that. But I don't know. It's Odell. What the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go to the Titans and the Texans. Titans still one of the last 3 unbeaten teams. They are one of the last 2 in the AFC. Had a great comeback.
Beat COVID.
They did. They beat it like a friggin' Derrick Henry stiff arm. So the team looked scary. Obviously, a lot of it okay, the difference between last year and this year with this team was last year it was all Derrick Henry. If he didn't get going, they didn't win. This year, Ryan Tannehill looks ridiculous. Whatever the hell they're doing with him, good for them because he's killing it.
He just looks very, very comfortable, and he's spreading the ball around to everybody. Everybody. Because I picked up, I hope his first name is Adam. I can't remember. I just picked up.
Humphreys?
No, it was
That's
their tight
Bucks.
end.
Burks
or Anthony, maybe. I should probably look it up. I have an iPad in front of me. But, yeah, to give it perspective, the backup to Jonnu Smith had 26 fantasy points last week. I believe he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Tannehill's
And there's another
throwing the ball
guy
to
that you
everybody.
really haven't, nobody's really talked to tremendously about is Jonnu Smith. He's been in top 5 tight end this year.
Yeah, and it's, like you said, it is Anthony Ferkser. All right, I knew his name, thank God. But yeah, he, Jesus, like I said, backup tight ends getting some love. Tannehill spreading it to everybody. He just looks so absolutely poised in the pocket. Like even when he's in a little bit of trouble, like he looks like he knows what he's doing. It's almost like Vrabel knows what the fuck he's doing because he was taught by somebody who knows what the hell he's doing.
What the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vrabel is a really good story as a player where he was a Swiss Army knife for Belichick. He played linebacker, he played tight end, he played fullback, he played special teams. Like he was incredibly well rounded for that team. So I think you're seeing that in his coaching where he can make things out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like he can take, like Belichick likes to do, take things off the trash heap and make them gold again, polish them up. Tannehill was off the trash heap and he came in and Tannehill looks like a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. So yeah, that Titans team can be really, really scary. Obviously when you have Derrick Henry with his size and speed, it's absurd. He doesn't look fast when he's moving. He looks like he's running slow, but then he's leaving everybody in his dust. And you're just like, how is it physically possible for that size of a man to run that fast? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
The Josh Norman stiff arm was bad enough, and then you're watching that guy run past people. Like he's not he's as agile, but it's almost like Bo Jackson-esque. It's like he's big enough where he's going to run through you. I mean, it's a Tennessee Titans. Call him Earl Campbell, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, Earl wasn't that quick, but once he got out past you damn near wasn't going to take him down. And Derrick Henry's the same thing, but Henry's faster than Earl ever was. Like, holy shit.
Oh, my
this
God.
guy is
It's
insane.
crazy.
I would like to bring this up, though. You brought up Vrabel. I saw this on Twitter the other day. Warren Sharp, at Sharp Football. Late in the game, I believe it was like 3 minutes left in the fourth. Vrabel runs in. So what they did was he runs in another guy on D. So they had 12 men. And they have the last guy they rushed in, the 11th guy is like, what the hell's going on? They don't realize. They get a penalty for 12 men on the field. And Vrabel's all pissed off. And then he pulls the guy that he sent on as the 12th man off because the penalty stopped the clock. And he knew getting the time stopped was more important than giving up the yards that he had to give away. And he knew Houston was like within the 20-yard line. So he knew they were going to score. And at this point, the score was 29-30, and the result ended up being there was 4 seconds left, and Tennessee was able to score and get the tying touchdown, and able to make. It doesn't exactly make sense. Hang on.
So essentially, he got the 12-man penalty to stop the clock.
Hang on. When Houston scored the touchdown, and then when Tennessee had to go back down the field, I looked at the clock wrong. Essentially, what happened was he ran in another guy to get a stop on the clock and let them go down, hurry up. So they got the time, got the stop, and then let them score. So they had enough time to go back, and Tennessee only scored with 4 seconds left on the clock. Had he not done that, they would have not had enough time to run. What was it? The game-winning touchdown to, I believe, A.J. Brown or whatever it was.
So he ran another man on the field to stop the clock, move them closer, let them score quicker, so he could go down and score.
He, as opposed to using a touchdown, he ran a guy on the field to take a 12-man on the field penalty, or an extra man on the field penalty, knowing Houston was right there. They were probably going to run it in for 7. And then once they did that, that saved him that spare 4 seconds for them to go down in the fourth quarter and win it.
It's like last year when it was great when he pulled the delay of game, run the clock out penalty on Belichick after Belichick did it earlier that year in the playoffs. That was the greatest moment of all playoff history.
And once again, I'm an idiot. I was reading this wrong. They scored the tying touchdown with 4 seconds left on the clock in regulation, and then they won the game. So yeah, my mistake.
So that was a great game. This game with the Steelers and Titans, is gonna be a awesome freaking game. And it's sad because this technically should have happened 2 weeks ago. And you know what? I almost feel like the Steelers would have lost that one back then. And now I feel like they have a better chance of winning it in this game now that they've waited. And the number one reason is because of Chase Claypool being more involved.
Yes. And like I said, we thought the Browns game was going to be close, and the Browns kind of got exposed. I'm not going to say, like I said, my only knock on the Steelers is when they've looked good, but they haven't really played anybody. We thought the Browns.
And you can't even really fingers at the Browns right now, because they didn't have Chubb and they had an injured Mayfield.
Exactly. I can't, you can't shit on the Browns exactly too much, but at the same time, this is a proven game for the Steelers because the Titans, once again, this is the team that challenged the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl last year. This is the cream of the crop, and the Raiders have already proven the Chiefs can be beaten. If the Steelers come out and humble the Titans, the Steelers are putting themselves I hate to say it. The Steelers are far and ahead, I think, the favorite to probably get home field and top seed in the AFC. But, like I said, they're going to run into a buzzsaw with a lot of away games late in the year. So,
that's the biggest issue is because of the Tennessee Titans' mistakes, the Steelers have to play 13 games in a row, which is pretty crazy. And, you can throw what ifs out the window, all at this, but we won't know until we know.
It's same with every other sport. There's just been so many things that have had to change and adapt. It's just be thankful it's still fucking
here. Yeah, it's still happening. That's all that matters. The Pack and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers had a great game. Did you understand Aaron Rodgers' celebration?
It was great because me and Jordan were sitting here and I started dying.
I didn't catch it. I didn't understand it off the bat. And then I saw a meme where they had,
as soon as I saw it, and I couldn't believe because I figured as soon as you started doing that, the camera guy would cut away. And I'm like, no. And he does it quick too. And then he's sitting there and he waits and it's the last one. And then, of course, the touchdown, I believe, got called off. Didn't it get called back?
No, I don't think that one got called back. I think it was later. Maybe? I don't know. I think you might be right. I'm not 100%.
I think that one got called off that he celebrated on, and then they may have scored on that same possession right there.
They were up 10-0, and then 38 straight points from the Bucs.
Yeah, because their 10 points only came in the first quarter, so I feel like it came right there. Yeah.
So,
that one,
if anybody didn't understand that celebration, it's a Key and Peele video of
the East and West Bowl.
I think it's
McCringleberry.
Yeah, Kingleberry. When he's celebrating when he scores, and the ref gives him a 2-hump limit or something like that.
He was doing the hands behind the head, doing the hip thrust, and you're only allowed 2. and he would do like just the most subtle like little movement. They would throw a flag.
Throw a flag on
and then he
him.
would go down and be like, "Oh, he's in the end zone again. He's a monster." And then he would sit there and just. It's like the refs just like
The ref's like standing right up to him, like
literally just staring at every part of his dick, all of it, just being like waiting for the next thrust. And then as soon as he goes like, it's like flag comes out.
Flag gone. So yeah, watch the video. It's pretty hilarious, and then you'll understand his celebration a little bit. Because I honestly didn't catch that off the bat until I saw the meme later. And went, "Oh my god, that was hilarious!"
I caught it on the draw. That was Rodgers is. I know they lost this game, but he does seem like he's having a little bit more fun and enjoying himself this year. So
he was mouthing off to Ndamukong Suh in that game, like.
Yeah, but I was reading they've had because you got to remember he played.
He was
for the
a Lion
Lions for how long? So they've hated each other for a long ass time.
Yeah.
So that was just a lot of shit talking.
Yep, the Bucs look good. It's kind of to the point now where you're like, shit, maybe TB12 is gonna come out on top this year. I honestly picked Belichick and the Patriots to have a better record than the Bucs, but maybe Bruce Arians.
But
I mean, we're 6 games in. They've won 2/3 of their games. Bruce Arians is a fantastic coach. He's finding ways to win these games. Their defense is a lot better than the Patriots' defense right now.
But I mean, their defense is coming on, and the thing that really worries me is all of a sudden, you saw last week, it's been like, where's Gronk, where's Gronk, where's Gronk? And then all of a sudden, that was like every time Brady was in trouble and even a little bit.
It was Gronk.
Right his way, yep.
Yeah. Gronk is starting to get his legs, and that's scary. I fucking hate that connection.
I was like.
I'm just glad it's in the NFC.
It was like, he already gets Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and, Rojo and all these great weapons. And then it's like, who else can they get? It's Gronk comes out of retirement.
No, we'll pull Gronk out of retirement. Great.
Awesome. He's hitting his stride.
I was a little worried, and I think the only reason Gronk is getting more is because of the OJ. It's OJ Howard's injured right now, I believe.
Yeah, he's injured.
And I think that's the only reason, really, he's getting more. Because Cameron Brate, they're moving him around and using him. They're using 3 tight end packages like crazy, just like some of the old Patriot ways they used to do. So that team is weird that they're going to throw 3 tight ends with Mike Evans. And it's like, you can go empty backfield with 3 tight ends, Mike Evans and Godwin, and still have crazy mismatches all over the field.
Yeah, exactly. Because the way that's just spreading the defense out and just creating a mismatch somewhere, whether it be, a linebacker on Gronk or on, Brate or somebody like that. And really, I hate to say it, but the difference is like we were talking about earlier before we started the show, we were all worried about Leonard Fournette. No, he's going to be a powerhouse in this and that.
Ronald Jones has put him in his place.
Firmly put himself ahead, and for the first time since Corey Dillon, when was the last time Brady had a really a running back that you feared? Corey Dillon, he was the only one.
I think that's really it.
Think of. And that was just because they got him from the Bengals in his prime, in the absolute.
And it was something like he got in trouble with the law or something, drugs or something.
Released or something like that, and they picked him up. But yeah, other than that, now it's you got to look around Brady, Godwin, Evans, that little white boy Scotty Miller. Fuck him.
Yeah. Why does he always find a tiny white guy to throw to?
I don't know. Why is it? Like I said, he looks like something that Julian Edelman would eat. Is what he looks like. And the kids catching. That's just Brady. He's that great, and the kids catching bombs from him.
Yep.
I don't get it.
But moving on from that, obviously you go to the Rams and the 49ers. 49ers do win that one, get to 3-3. Garoppolo's back. They got hurt pretty hard on the defensive front with injuries, and then with Garoppolo getting hurt and them having to roll with Nick Mullins for a little while. And it's kind of like this team is fighting through adversity right now. They're obviously still a playoff team, but I don't know, without some of that defensive front, I don't think you can consider them a Super Bowl contender right now.
Hand up, I put a little bit of action on the Rams to win this game because with all the injuries and everything going on in the league with COVID and everything, like as a constant whirlwind, I didn't know that Jimmy G was playing this game.
Yeah.
And
I didn't either until
I
after
thought it was Nick
started.
Mullins, and then as soon as I saw that Greek bastard on the TV, I'm like, oh no, that was like that beautiful tan John Stamos looking son of a bitch is gonna kill me, and he did.
And so yeah, Garoppolo is now 7-1 on primetime games, so that's interesting. Broncos and Patriots. Broncos end up beating the Patriots, and this was just a bad game for this Patriots team. Like, I think I mentioned it earlier, or maybe we were talking about it beforehand. The defense on this Patriots team has been like with all the opt-outs, they've lost so much, and Gilmore is not defensive player of the year anymore. Like, he is not playing to that type of caliber anymore. You can see it. Like, what is it with Belichick and only getting quarterbacks that last them a year? It's like Malcolm Butler was a godsend for that whole year. Was like crazy good, and then the year after he kind of piddled out. Now over in Tennessee, and he's doing decent, good, having a good year. Then there was when they grabbed Revis off the scrap pile. He was fantastic for that 1 year. Shut everybody down. Didn't have to worry, and then he piddled out. Stephon Gilmore come from Buffalo, where he was great. He came over there, defensive player of the year. And then this year, he just doesn't seem the same. Like, it feels like he lost a step.
With all the shortened training camps and everything like that, I really don't think you can sit here and go, oh, Stephon Gilmore is washed up.
I wouldn't say that.
It's just, I feel like he's just kind of having like, I hate to say it because he's not with the team anymore, but almost like a Xavier Rhodes type run in Minnesota where he was a lockdown corner for a while there, and then like last year all of a sudden he started getting beat to shit all over the place. Like, I just don't think you should give up on him just yet. I feel like it's still there, enough moving pieces and enough changing, in New England with Tom leaving and just everything that they've had to adapt to with this season. Yeah, Gilmore will be fine. It's the Patriots. Wait till just fucking later in the year.
Yeah, that's how they usually are. Is they'll crap in the beginning and then come on and go nuts near the end. I just would love to see a playoff season without the Patriots. That'd be great. I'd love to see a playoff season without TB12.
I mean, not gonna lie, I was all worried about that last playoff spot. Going to the Patriots because that was a little bit of a tight race there. And now it's like just keep sliding a little.
Well, you got to admit, Cam Newton was out for 2+ weeks. He didn't look fantastic in that game. It might be a little bit on him.
Yeah, he'll knock the rust off.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it's not like they were, what were their 2 previous weeks? Trying to look here, going through the scores. I feel like they didn't play last week. They must have been on the bye.
No, this game, the game was moved. Remember, this game here was like postponed and all that good jazz.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because it was supposed to. I believe it was supposed to be Thursday night football, and it didn't end up being that way because of the COVID things. But anyway, they didn't do great.
Tuesday night game, 2 Monday night games, no Thursday night games. Everything's fucked.
Everything's super fucked right now, and everybody's just kind of making it up as they go right now. Dolphins. Now, this is a big topic right now I want to talk about after we go through this because it doesn't make any sense to me. The Dolphins blew up the Jets. Obviously, the Jets are like the worst team in the NFL right now, 0-6. How Adam Gase still has a job right now is beyond anybody's knowledge whatsoever. How the fuck that man still has a job. Anyway, The entire game, this is season so far, Fitzmagic has been killing it. Like, he's had a good season so far. Tua comes in for the last 2 minutes of this game. Garbage time. Completes like a couple passes. Looks all right. Run the clock out. Good stuff. The Dolphins come out of nowhere and go, Tua's our starter from now on. And they announce it the day after the game on a fucking Tuesday, right before their bye week. Why the fuck are you sitting Fitz? Like, I get it. Fitz is obviously not the answer in the long term. He's about to be done, but he's playing lights out. He's got you at 3-3. You're not a playoff team. I get you want to get the guy playing time, but do you think it's better for him to sit behind a grizzly veteran like Fitz and learn from him than to throw him into a fire? It doesn't make sense to me why they do it. Making
Tua's injury history and all the question marks with him, this is too early.
Way too early.
This team is 3-3, and while Fitzpatrick has played well, he has had his moments, but he is not the reason they have 3 losses.
No.
He has kept them in a lot of games, and they have been super, super competitive. And I felt really bad. I saw he actually came out and said his heart actually hurt the entire day because he felt like he was playing well enough. Like he's been benched, he's been traded a million times, but he said he felt like he had this team and this was his team, and that they were going to really, start making a run here. And I feel like they kind of just pulled the carpet out from underneath the guy before he could even, like, he hasn't done anything to
deserve being benched.
To deserve what they're doing.
Tua hasn't done anything to prove that he's ready to friggin' go.
Exactly.
He came in for 2 minutes at the end of a game. Like, when I heard that, I'm like, did Fitz get injured or something? Like, what happened at the end of the game? Did he play like shit and they put him in? Well, no, he couldn't have played like shit. They went 24-0. So I'm watching the highlight and I'm like, okay, Tua comes in at like 2:42, throws a complete pass, 2-minute warning, and then hands the ball off a couple times, throws another pass, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do anything. Good, he got on the field. You got him a little time in a game that was over. Fitz was on the sideline, fucking cheering, jumping up and down. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's far too early. To him. It's far too early, and all this is going to lead to is Tua is going to come out, and I don't wish anything bad upon the kid, but I really don't think he's ready. I feel like he's still far too fresh, far too raw, and what this does, though, is if you think about it, Fitzpatrick usually plays well for 7 or 8 games and then starts to, peter out at the end of the year. So what they'll do is Tua will win, 1 or 2 and then struggle a little bit, and then they'll put Fitzpatrick in and then make a playoff run. No, probably not going to happen. It's just a pipe dream.
It drives me insane that they would do that to the guy. The guy has given a lot to that, and
you watch them and they're running around, and this, like you said, this team looks like they're really
the morale was really high.
They rallied around this guy and they're having fun with he's going out and scrambling and lowering his shoulder into linebackers,
fucking
and shit,
running people over
going
and
for it. And that, the guys on the sideline love to see that shit, and they want to
when you have a teammate, a quarterback especially, that's doing that shit.
Yeah, nothing against Tua, obviously, but.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an all-around terrible.
It's a bad decision because all it's going to do is turn this team. Because they had everybody back in Fitz. They felt good. Morale was high. This team was rolling. And then they just cut that short and say, nope, time to throw the rookie in. He hasn't got a chance to earn any respect. Like, he hasn't got the team behind him. He goes out there and makes a few bad decisions. The team's going to turn on him.
That's the sad thing is Fitzpatrick's played well enough now. like we've talked about, we've really had nothing but positive things to say about Brian Flores at this point. Like he's been excellent. This is the first really boneheaded, just scratch your head move because now every Dolphins fan and every Twitter coach and couch coach and everybody else is going to be sitting there going, as soon as Tua fucks up or makes a couple one or two picks, it's almost like the Josh Rosen effect all over again. You're going to pull this kid, put Fitzpatrick back in, and you're going to completely shatter
any kind of confidence.
Whatever momentum he had going and whatever he had learned to that point, you're just taking one step forward and two steps back.
It was, like when I heard it, the dumb. It was a very Adam Gase move.
Like I said, Flores has been an excellent coach. Nothing but positives about the guy.
Okay, even what I don't understand is announcing it the day after the game, before your bye week. Okay, say, Tua's all year you could be saying, of course Tua's trying to win that starting position. We evaluate him every week, blah, blah, blah. Go through the bye week. Give him 50-50 reps, whatever. Get to the point where it's like, hey, we're going to start Tua. We want to see what he's got in this coming week. Okay, I might even make a little more sense out of that. It just doesn't make sense the way he did it. It's jumping the gun. Tua got in there and he passed the ball once or twice. Oh, it looks like he's healthy. We're starting him. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm moving on. All right. Cardinals and Cowboys. Cardinals look great. Cowboys looked horrible. I think it's funny because this is the Andy Dalton I know. And I'm laughing in every friggin' person's face that talked ill on Dak, talked great, oh, thank God we don't have Dak starting. Dak is still leading the league in passing yards right now. And he hasn't played he didn't play last week, and he didn't play, the second half of that game almost. And he's still leading the league.
At the same time, I feel bad for Andy Dalton because everybody was kind of like, ooh, that's pretty sneaky. They have a great offensive line. They've got Zeke, got 3 great receivers, all this thing. Their offensive line, Zach Martin got hurt last week. I believe he got a concussion, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe Tyron Smith's out for the season, I want to say.
I feel like he's on IR. I feel like he's coming back at
he might. Yeah, it might be something that he's coming back from. I can't remember.
Yeah, but anyhow, this couldn't be a more perfect situation for Andy Dalton to have a career revival, and their offensive line is beat up, and he didn't look good, but at the same time, he didn't really have time to get confident or comfortable back there. No. He was constantly under pressure.
No. Yeah, and I feel bad. It's scary to me that
that fucking Zeke can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah, what? This team is falling apart. There was a point in time where there was so much star power
this year than he had all of last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a point in time where there was so much star power on this team. You were like, how can this team not make the playoffs every year?
Well, there still is, just not so much on the defensive side of the ball. And
no.
Like I said, O-line can't block for shit. They're really struggling.
Jerry Jones picked keeping a lot of the offensive talent over keeping the defensive talent. And it shows because they literally can't stop anyone.
Which is weird because he's an old white guy and they usually say defense wins championships. So.
Yeah, it's true. But the Cardinals beat up on them. I like this Cardinals team a lot. I like Kyler Murray. I never thought I'd say that because he looks like a child playing football, but
I'm not sold on him. The Lions loss is pretty suspect to me. I think they're another team we get to see a little bit more down the stretch out of.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on from there.
They got to get Larry Fitzgerald is kind of like another T.Y. Hilton. He's been kind of forgotten.
He hasn't got. I mean, he's still caught a pass every game. They're keeping his streak going, but that's about it. Christian Kirk's getting a lot of it.
That's the key. They got to get him involved more.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't have a Hall of Famer on your offense and not throw the ball to him.
Yeah, exactly. Chiefs and Bills, good game. I kind of feel Bills defense isn't living up to their past year right now. They definitely put up a very good fight against the Chiefs in this one. But Mahomes wasn't going to let, it happen 2 times. Getting beat by someone that no, not offensive saying this, but somebody they probably shouldn't have lost to. I'm proud of you for beating him.
I am slightly offended.
I'm not meaning that in an offensive way. I mean, it's when
we were a little bit overmatched, but I was confident going into that.
I was just happy to see it happen because I love when juggernauts get knocked down. I'm an underdog lover.
But no, the AFC doesn't make sense at the top, and I'm not saying necessarily the Raiders are considered at the top, but you have the Bills beat the Raiders, and the Chiefs just beat the Bills, but the Raiders beat the Chiefs.
Right.
Make sense of that for me, please.
The triangle of death.
Yeah, that's the Bermuda Triangle right there.
Yeah,
everything in it dies, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of that right now in the AFC. There's just a lot of teams that look amazing and then they lose. Like the fucking Packers looked completely unstoppable, and then just the Bucks didn't beat themselves in that game though, because that was the first time they didn't lead. They were leading the league in offensive penalties, or just penalties in general, and then they had none in that game. I honestly think there was 1 or 2 penalties. But that was the only reason. So, yeah, there's a lot of weird mix-up at the top. I'm kind of excited to see what's happening when the dust settles and we get past we get into the bye weeks and a little more and start working our way through it, get to the second half of the season. It's going to be exciting. Yeah. All right, I'm going to quickly, because we did run a little bit longer than I wanted to because we had great discussions.
Let's get into the picks here.
All right, so we do have Thursday night game. It is the Eagles and the Giants. The big thing about this game is this Eagles team is better than they seem. They are horrible. Injuries are horrible for them. But I think that they're better than the Giants. I think the Eagles win this game, although they don't have Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I was going to say no Miles Sanders, a beat-up offensive line, but as hard as everybody's been on Wentz, he is starting to settle in and make something out of these water boys he's got at wide receiver, basically, at this point.
Yeah.
He's doing what he can with what he has, and he's getting comfortable enough to beat the Giants at home on Thursday.
Yes. All right. Next one was the Lions and Falcons. I don't believe in this Lions team. I do feel like this Falcons team is going to show more grit ever since losing Quinn. I think this Falcons team could have a nice rebound and possibly make a wild card run. That being said, I am picking the Falcons. It's going to be a close game. I like these type of games where you're kind of 2 meh teams going against each other because they play hard and do a lot of the there's no tomorrow type of thing. Yeah. And I like it.
I hate agreeing with you on things because I also agree. I feel like post Dan Quinn now, this team can make a little bit of a, I'm not going to say they're going to make a playoff run, but they could maybe.
You could see them going 9-7.
They could be around there. They're going to make some noise, I feel like. And we talked about, here's Adam Gase. Here's where he's at on the firing things. And we'll just, here's my other hand right here. There's a big
right at the bottom.
Right here. Here's Matt Patricia down here. There's a big enough gap. He's comfortable for now.
Yeah, that gap got spread a little bit because, him winning last week. So he was probably here, and he moved down here because he won. But Adam Gase, how is that man still employed is beyond me.
Gase is up here, and always keep in mind, Gase goes away. Patricia goes up here. But
goes to the top.
I feel like if he loses to a Falcons team that has, a new GM and a new head coach, I feel like you can move Patricia up here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Battle of Ohio. I believe this is the second time they've played this year. They've already played. They're getting their 2 games out of the way. Browns won the first matchup. This one's in Cincy. Baker's still not feeling great. They're still not going to have Chubb. I kind of have a weird feeling that the Bengals can sneak this one out. Like at home, the fans are starting to come back, giving people an actual little bit of home field advantage. Not like overly bearing, like Arrowhead with 70,000 people overbearing, but like you're starting to get a little bit of a boost from your home squad type of thing, even if it's 5,000 people compared to 60,000. I think it's going to be a Bengals upset in this one.
The not being able to close last week worries me. But the Browns also were put out a very disturbing performance last Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's really this is a shit show. Which way you want to go? Baker's still not 100%, but I don't feel like the Bengals can put enough pressure on him to really worry him too much. I feel like they were running the ball well with Kareem Hunt early in that game, but they got down early enough that they had to unfortunately just pass, and Baker wasn't doing too well.
Yeah.
This is so tough, but I'll take the Browns.
All right. Packers and Texans. Packers 4-1. Bad loss to the Bucs last week. Texans. I feel so bad for them. They just have had literally the worst schedule I've ever seen a team have. I feel like if they had another team's schedule, they could probably be a 4-2 team. But God, they have played juggernaut after juggernaut after juggernaut. And Watson is trying his best, but I just feel like this team's going to be a top 5 pick this year.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. Like we said, the Titans are right at the top. They're the cream of the crop of the AFC. And the Texans, no matter what they do, no matter what Deshaun Watson does, no matter how hard they fight. Laremy Tunsil also, we were critical of that trade, but he's a really, really strong candidate, for one of the top offensive linemen in the league right now.
Yeah, he really is.
And even with those pieces, they
can't put it together.
They just can't get over the hump.
It's almost like if only they had a superstar wide receiver to throw to. Oh, yeah, that guy. Oh, huh. Bet they miss him. Should have fired Bill Bryan before they signed that paper.
As soon as he walks in with the owner and is like, "Hey, I'm trading DeAndre," I'd be like, "Wouldn't you have to get out the word Hopkins?" I'd have been like, "Stop right there, pack your shit and get out.
Empty your locker." Sorry, but not sorry. But I don't think you can go against the Packers right now, especially now that Aaron Rodgers lost a game. He's going to be pissed.
Especially to Brady. He's not going to like that. Go, Pack, go.
Panthers and Saints, another good division rival game. The Saints have kind of been wishy-washy. Without Mike Thomas, they're just not the same team. I don't know. This one's really, really tough, and I'd love to see what the odds are in this one. I bet the spread's like 1 point on this guy.
I'll tell you.
I don't know. This is super, super tough for me to pick. It is in New Orleans, and I think that's the only reason I'm picking the Saints on this is they just got the home field a little bit.
Well, that and no McCaffrey, so I'm taking the Saints. Let me take a peek at the spreads real quick. I'll tell you.
All right, we'll move on to the next one while you're looking that up. Bills and Jets. I don't know if we have to discuss that.
The FanDuel currently has the Panthers plus 7.5.
Are you kidding?
They get the Saints by over a touchdown at home.
Oh man, I might be taking that spread.
I know we haven't gotten through all of them, but I'll just run through it real quick if you want to. We'll go through the dogs. The Giants are 4.5 underdogs to the Eagles. The Bills are favored. The Jets are favored. You're fucking me up. Just let me run. Just let me go with it. Because the Jets are underdogs by 13.5 points at home. Gotta love that. Saints, obviously. Bengals are underdogs, 3.5 points at home. The Washington football team is a 1-point underdog to the Dallas Cowboys. The Falcons are a 2-point favorite to the Lions at home. The Texans are a 3.5 dog to the Packers. Titans are currently a 1.5-point favorite to the Steelers. And then the Seahawks are a point favorite. And the rest of them we really don't fucking care about.
Yeah. Who'd you say with the Eagles and Giants?
Eagles and Giants. The Giants are a 4.5-point underdog.
Underdog, okay. Okay, moving on, though. Obviously, I don't think we need to discuss Bills and Jets. Whoever's playing the Jets, they're going to win. Jets will squeak out one win late in the season against a team that didn't prepare properly. They're going to be that team this year. Cowboys and Washington football team. I mean, this division's so fucking bad. I don't think you can go against the Cowboys in this, but
a 1-point spread in this game.
That's horrible. Cowboys will win it. That'll make them a very inflated 3-4. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against the Cowboys right now because Jesus Christ, who knows who's going to be playing quarterback this week for Washington? And will it be Kyle Allen for another week, or will we see Alex Smith? Who the hell knows?
Yeah. Seahawks and Cardinals. This is a good game. These are two teams that do like to battle, like the old time when the Rams used to be the bane of the Seahawks' existence when they were Legion of Doom. These two teams love to battle it out, and I'm really excited to see this game. I'm not going to pick against Russell Wilson until he shows me that I have to. Like, the man is possessed right now.
When that's Kyler's played well, and he's running all over the place. But Russ is going to show him how it's done and show him really who the king of this division still is.
Yep.
So I look for this to be a close one, but I'm taking the Seahawks.
After this week is over, I believe there will only be 2 undefeated teams, and one of them will be the Steelers.
No.
All right. Chiefs and Broncos. Chiefs, obviously, it's a divisional game. It's in Mile High. But can you really pick Drew Lock over Patrick Mahomes right now?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Chiefs by a mile.
Yeah. Mile High.
Gotcha.
49ers and Patriots. I honestly feel, this is Garoppolo's return to New England since he's been traded, but of course he's not playing Brady. I feel like the Niners have a little more rolling now. So I feel like this is the team. Like this they'll beat the Patriots, put the Patriots in a little bit of a hole. Belichick gets pretty angry and he digs them out. But I think it's a Niners game.
Yeah, this is one of those ones I'm half tempted to take the Patriots because I feel they, without the injury, with all the 49ers injuries, I feel like they have a little bit more of a complete team at the moment. But Cam, like we said, looked pretty rusty last week.
Yeah.
So you pull it together this week, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the Patriots in Foxborough.
Okay, I like it. Patriots. Okay, next is the Bucks and Raiders. That's going to be a good game. Gruden's first game versus Tampa Bay since he led them to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, he got fired long after that. But
yeah. I have to go with the Bucks on this, and I feel bad saying that because I feel like this Raiders team is really rolling. It is in the Death Star. No.
come to the dark.
No. Going with the Raiders.
Dogs.
I'm going with the Raiders on this. It's going to be a tuck rule redemption.
My man. Like I said, Trent Brown tested positive, so we will be without him on Sunday. And
if more of your offensive line.
And 6 of our other offensive linemen are currently in protocol, just being tested. So we'll find out more in the morning if this game will be played or not.
Yeah.
But
I got to say, if more than one of your starting linemen are going to be out and they're going to play the game, I'm probably going to have to switch that pick.
And I wouldn't disagree with you because this Buccaneers defense is starting to look pretty scary. And
yeah.
We are old enough that Antoine Winfield Jr. looks like a star back there. Okay? Like, we are that fucking old. But yeah, if Trent Brown, losing him hurts because having him on the other side, Carr knows he can be confident and step up in the pocket, but I think we beat the Buccaneers. I think we get them. Just like we said, we'll put an asterisk on this game.
Well, we're gonna have to come back to that one because it's gonna be COVID related for that one. I'm picking the Raiders. You're picking the Raiders, but that could change due to COVID.
Don't put an asterisk next to it. Literally, put the little virus right next to it.
Yeah. All right. Steelers and Titans. I'm surprised this is still just a 1:00 game and they're not making it a primetime game. But I think because it got rescheduled to this, they can't. They don't want. They can't move things around.
Well, no. Look at the other, like, your 1:00 games: Panthers, Saints, Browns, Bengals, Bills, Jets, Cowboys, and the football team, and then the Packers and Texans. Oh, and Lions and Falcons. They need one good game on the.
I guess you're right. I'm excited for this game. I'm nervous for this game. All I'm nervous about is what happens when Derrick Henry breaks it to the outside and we lose containment on him. That's what it's been for every team that's played the Titans. So I feel like we are equipped well to contain him and force him inside. Instead of letting him bounce it to the outside because that's where he's scary. Yeah, obviously him running up the gut is scary too because the guy's a fucking behemoth.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we can contain the edge with Watt and Dupree and force him to run inside the tackles, you'll have a better chance at containing him overall. I feel like we're very well equipped for that. So we'll see what happens. I feel like the Steelers do win this. I think it'll be a tight game. I think Ben's going to have to throw the ball a lot. You're going to see a lot of Chase Claypool. No, I think that's it. Like, I think this is going to be a shootout, essentially.
What it comes down to is the Steelers need to get heat on Tannehill. And because if they do that, then they can stack the box, stop Henry, and then the game becomes simple. If they let Tannehill get time, and we've seen he doesn't need a lot of time. He's getting the ball out. He's got a lot of weapons. He likes to spread it around. If they don't make him uncomfortable early in this game, then it's going to be a lot easier to put it in Derrick Henry's hands and grind the clock down and get those second half and those, nail in the coffin points. If you put it.
You almost, with the way they can control the clock, the Titans, you have to score essentially every possession you have the ball.
Exactly. They are the Titans. Vrabel has this team. They are so immaculately coached. Like that little point I brought up earlier about him running, another guy on the field to take a penalty and shit like that.
It's crazy.
They have it dialed in, and furthermore, everybody's really bought into this guy. Like, this is a team that has rallied around him, and they rallied around Tannehill. I hate to say it, but if you don't stop A.J. Brown early in the game, it's going to be it's going to run away fast, and Ben's going to have to throw. So,
yep.
And I feel like, I just hate to say it, but I feel like if you guys get in a shootout with these guys, I feel like even with Claypool, Derrick Henry, is better than 2 of your running backs. Not, and I don't mean that. No disrespect to Connor, but the guy is just an absolute monster right now.
Yeah,
So if it gets into a
absolutely.
throwing match, Tannehill against Ben, I'll take the Titans.
All righty. Jags and Chargers. I don't really know who cares about this one. I'm picking the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, dude. Give me Hey Bear Herbert. Just kidding.
Chargers. It is Hey Bear. The Rams and Bears play Monday night. I like this game. I still can't believe the Bears are 5-1. It boggles my mind. I feel like the Rams are the better team. I'm kind of surprised in how good this team is this year. I think the Rams find a way to lay the smackdown on Chicago.
This Rams team has looked a lot better, and I feel like Goff has looked more comfortable, and I feel like Jalen Ramsey and a lot of the moving pieces are more comfortable now. McVay feels like he's got these guys really settled in and believing in the system. And even though on the state flag of California there is a bear, it ain't gonna be their night. And I sit here and I'm like, I'm picking the Rams, and I could just easily be sitting here on Monday night, see me throwing a 20 on them, and just seeing the Bears fucking running all over the fucking Rams. Like, it's inexplicable that they're 5-1, but they're either like the slide's going to start, or they're just going to keep climbing. I got to take the Rams.
I agree.
And the Bears will probably screw us both.
Yep, probably. That's just how it's been. All right. Well, that's all of your Week 7 matchups. It's going to have exciting games and completely like who's going to pay attention to this type of game.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many 1 o'clocks that you just look at and you're like, I don't even care to watch that. Like, who gives a fuck about watching the Bills and Jets? Who gives a crap about watching the Giants and the Eagles on Thursday night? Man, the Thursday night schedule this year has been horrible.
I don't even care. After last week, I was so excited because I was like, oh, we get a Monday night game, we get a Tuesday night game, and then they're like, oh no, Thursday night, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm just so devastated. It's like, what do I do? Like, just any football you'll give me at this point, at any point of the week, I'll take it. I'm just thankful for Thursday night back.
I agree with you on that
even
one.
though they haven't been, exactly marquee matchups, they have been, pretty.
They have been fun games to watch. You know what I find funny though this year is there used to be like so much complaining about the amount of days we have between games, we weren't able to properly prepare and all. You haven't heard one team come bitch about that at all this year. And it's like,
I think they're just, quite frankly, happy to be out and fucking doing it at this point.
Yeah. And I just think it's funny that no team has really bitched about that. And then you have, delays with COVID and whatnot. And there hasn't been a single like, well, it's BS. That we had these many days and we couldn't prepare. Now the Titans obviously broke a fucking shitload of protocol to just do their thing, but I don't know.
I mean,
I just find it funny. That's usually one of the cliche things that happens every year.
They still managed to. They had 11 players that were on the COVID list at some point that tested positive or this and that, and they still look like a favorite in the AFC.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Goddamn Belichick disciple.
Yep, bastards. All right, guys. Well, as always, you can visit us on our Facebook, our Transistor host site. Go to our Weebly page to see all of our content. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube, and I said Facebook, but I'll say it again, Facebook. You can see all of our stuff on there. Please throw a like at us. Give us a comment. Send us a message. Let us know what you want to hear. Tell us that you like us or you don't like us. We don't care. Just talk to us.
You can tell me you don't like me. I won't lose any sleep over it. Let's argue about it.
All right. As for Jace Junk and myself, Thank you all for joining us. And as always, remember to rage on.